All right, how we doing over on the other half of the world? So essentially, we all know what's going on. They're throwing salvos still back and forth. There are reports, though, Israel has now warned the U.S. that they're running out of the missiles for their Iron Dome missile defense system. Iran, again, has had a long time to buy up stockpiles of these ballistic missiles, and they are making good use of them, at least with what's left of their military leadership. Iran, again, has rattled their saber and warned that the U.S. should not get involved. If the U.S. joins the Israeli campaign and strikes Fordo, a key Iranian nuclear facility, the Iranian-backed Houthi militia will almost certainly resume striking ships in the Red Sea, and added that the pro-Iranian militias in Iraq and Syria would probably try to attack U.S. bases there. Please note something critical here. So the Fordo Iranian nuclear facility is believed to be a large centrifuge to be able to enrich uranium. This is buried deep in the mountains, and they would require a bunker buster bomb and one of our B-2s to go out there and take it out. Will we do it? Will we not? Who knows? The big thing here is I know everybody's getting rattled about Trump getting us involved in another war. Please look at Trump's record. Please look at it on his first ones. I am trying to give the man some leeway, and I believe he understands his base that none of us want to get involved in another war. The lefties used to be anti-war, but now they clamor and foam at the mouth for war. Why is that? Why did y'all guys flip? I thought y'all be with us on this about no war. Y'all are weird. The other bit of it is, again, the left tried to scream that the militias, the Houthi, the Hamas, they were not actually part of Iran. Oops. Iran just completely came out and explicitly stated that, yeah, they're part of Iran. They're part of their proxy force. Other officials have said that in the event of an attack, Iran will begin to mine the Strait of Hormuz, a tactic meant to pin American warships in the Persian Gulf. They are going to do that. That's not really what they're going to impact. Previously, we mentioned that there seems to be a lot of electrical warfare interference happening at the Strait of Hormuz, and to the point where there were two tankers that collided, a Russian tanker, if I'm not mistaken, and a Liberian. What this points to, and Iran has came out with one of their ex-officials and stated that they would potentially block the Strait of Hormuz for 100 days. They could potentially do that without American intervention, Russian intervention, or Chinese intervention. They do have that capability. This would not impact the U.S. 20% of all the global oil does go through the Strait of Hormuz, but that primarily goes to Russia, Japan, and India. So it wouldn't really affect us except for causing prices to go up because, of course, those countries have to buy their oil elsewhere. It's curious to see what would happen. It's a legitimate threat that they could do. More than likely, they're going to upset a lot of really powerful nations that aren't going to allow them to do that for very long. So be aware of that. That'll be a good play on oil. Again, exiled crown prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, says the Islamic Republic has come to an end, says what has begun is irreversible. Why is this dude coming out? Again, this gets back to my point from the very beginning. This is about regime change. You're not going to stop Iran from trying to get their hands on a nuclear weapon without regime change. Russia and the U.S. have offered to help them build a nuclear facility to actually utilize nuclear material, uranium, for a power plant. They've refused that every time. They are not interested in a power plant. They are interested in a nuclear warhead. This is about regime change. U.S. strikes. So this is coming from yesterday. There was all this hubbub where Trump came out and said, we know where the Ayatollah is. They must surrender now immediately. Again, you remember how Trump plays things. He is very bombastic. He goes over the top and then recoils. And this is him going over the top. There was fear that there were going to be military jets be sent over Iran, American military jets, and then this would be the end of it. We would enter the war. That did not happen. Give the man a little slack. I'm willing to give him a little bit of slack. I don't want to see us in a war, but thus far he hasn't done anything he isn't going to do. Like he hasn't overcommitted or done something he hasn't said he wouldn't do. And he said he would not get us into any more foreign entanglements. Let's take him at his word for now and let him play the game. He likes to play the game. Let the man cook. Right now where we're at, Trump is according to Netanyahu, Trump is likely to end the war in the coming days to bomb Iran's underground enrichment facility. That could be true. That could be true. For example, if Iran hasn't been able to get to the point where they start internal infighting, and if us blowing up a few key strategic points, including that enrichment facility, if that topples the regime, I could see that playing out. Or if the regime does topple and the Mossad's able to get into the facility, blow it up internally, or if there's so much infighting nobody cares anymore, then there's a good chance at some point when it least impact the U.S., we could go in there and blow that facility up, and probably several others. The U.S. has continued to help Israel defend itself from incoming missiles. I'm sure we've got missiles on the way to try to get them. I'm sure that's part of why those refueling planes are headed over there, is to help the Iranian Air Force and basically refuel them when they're over the field of battle, to make the sorties last a lot longer that they're sending over to Iran. That would be my play. So, for once, some good whiplash. Trump completely reversed course and said, nope, there is no safe space for an illegal, which is fantastic. I'm tired of woke safe spaces. I'm going to get in your face, wokey. Let's go. The ICE official Tatum King initially directed agents, this is on Thursday of last week, to pause immigration enforcement on ag work sites, aquacultural operations, meat packers, restaurants, and hotels. But 72 hours later, the pause was dead. Why? So, coming from Trump, to do all in their power to achieve the single largest mass deportation program in history. This is where he said it was going to be. This is where I thought the focus was going to be on those Democratic cities. That was in the memo. It turns out that there was a larger discussion, and ICE Homeland Security Investigations Division held an 11 a.m. call with 30 field offices with a message to resume raids immediately, including the farms, hotels, and meat plants. Whoa. Something was brewing. There will be no safe spaces for industries who harbor violent criminals or purposely try to undermine ICE efforts, said DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, confirming the reversal in follow-up statements to the press. That means that there was a policy infight. On one side, Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Ag, pushed for protections, arguing that farms would collapse without access to low-wage migrant labor. Business groups like the American Business Immigration Coalition pleaded for exemptions, hoping to buy time before ICE agents hit the field. You didn't get it, did you? You didn't get it. Again, to my point in the prior stream, get them all out. On the other side stood Stephen Miller and Tom Homan, architects of the administration's strict immigration posture, who reportedly pushed back hard against the idea of letting any industry off the hook, and they won. Haman is now executing over 2,000 arrests per day. That's great. The goal is to get up to 3,000. That is not speculation. That's the administration's own stated target. Frankly, they're going to have to double that to make a serious dent into the amount of illegals that are here in the nation. There's just no way. There's no way we're going to get enough of them out. It will make a dent with the amount that they do get out with the 3,000. It's not going to be enough for what is really needed to make a reversal of what Biden has done to this country. It will make a dent. It will not reverse what Biden has done. For years, cartel-linked multinationals, I mentioned this as well, that Tyson openly employs illegals, doesn't care. They openly select an illegal, pay them lower wages, pay them under the table so they don't have to pay taxes for it, and proudly stated that they did it under the Biden administration. They've quietly offloaded the true cost of meat production onto the backs of the undocumented. They've used front companies, fake Social Security numbers, labor contractors, shady records, and child labor was exposed on the kill floors. They claimed ignorance and paid a fine. And now they want protections. These are the companies you woke leftists want to protect. You are okay with child labor? This is what you're doing. You're okay with taking jobs from the poor? This is what you're doing. It's disgusting. You can't defend it, can you, lefty? And if that's not enough, I love the sound of Carol Bell. The Pentagon mobilizes hundreds of troops to help with immigration law enforcement. Don't you love to see it? There's going to be more of it. The Pentagon said Tuesday it will deploy up to 700 military personnel to assist immigration enforcement in Florida, Louisiana, and Texas in support of DJT's call to expand the mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Get those numbers up there, rookie numbers. Get them pumped. Immigration and Custom Enforcement by providing logistical, administrative, and clerical assistance at detention facilities. I got a feeling they're doing this to make sure they don't run afoul of military interacting with civilians. So allowing the military to do back office operation allows more ICE officials to get out there in the field. It's a smart way to get as many people out there to arrest illegals and deport them as quickly as possible. Oh, by the way, did you know Obama, the deporter-in-chief, did not allow due process for all the illegals that he deported? Why are they doing this now? Because the Democrats understand that if they get these illegals and they get them in, they now have a permanent voting base, and we are under full lock and control by a uni-party system by the Democrats. And you people have voted for it. You leftists. So much for democracy, right? You fascists. Who's the fascist now? Uh-oh. Florida and Texas, two of the states receiving military assistance, are among those with the largest illegal immigrant populations in the country. According to 2022 data from Pew Research, Florida was home to an estimated 1.6, Texas 1.2, Louisiana 65,000. Those seem low. Those seem very low. California has the highest of 1.8 million. Again, all that seems very low, and the Pew Research calls it out, saying that the figures range from 11 million to 30 million. The fact remains it's probably between 20 and 30. They were somewhere around 10 million before the Biden administration got in, and now the Biden administration openly admits there were over 10 million that came in that they know about. So we're looking at 25 million, 30 million. It's definitely well above 11, and it's definitely well above 20. So again, we're going to need to get 10 million out to make a serious impact. And getting 5 million out, I mean, it's going to make a dent, but frankly, it's just not going to be enough what I would like to see. Hopefully, we get another 4 years of some other hardcore Republican that continues to push this out, because this is changing America for the worse. So, can we say stolen yet? FBI records on alleged Chinese election interference. What, y'all didn't hear about this? Senator says Grassley is asking for additional documentation regarding the FBI effort to destroy the original report before Patel took the agency. So this is a lot of back and forth between Grassley and the Epoch Times. What's interesting about this is Grassley's basically asking for a lot of specific things. Better understand the decision-making process of your predecessors, FBI, Wray, the 8647 guy. Yeah, that guy. Specifically, he's looking for require the original report's destruction, whether the step is consistent with the agency's past. So Grassley, he understands that there may be a lot of people who don't recollect things. So if he knows that they're going to nobody's going to play turncoat and blow the whistle and start testifying against Wray, then maybe we can get him on a technicality to where he destroyed evidence that China was going to meddle in our 2020 election, and that would be enough to get him. This is very smart on Grassley. It seems very like, cutting the grass, watching paint dry, but it is critical. Grassley's a smart man. He realizes that he might not be able to get a whistleblower, so he's going to try to get Wray on a technicality, which is fantastic. It's better to get some sort of justice than none. I know the real justice we'll probably never see, but at least there might be some sort of justice. The good thing is that he's going to get a response here in the next couple of weeks. And again, we've got Patel at the head there, so he's going to get that response very quickly. Now, what was the plot? Vigilant Fox summed it up very well. Patel did not respond to the Epoch Times, but he said everything's already out there on X. So here's what it was. The CCP plotted to rig the 2020 election, and the FBI knew about it. The plan involved creating fake driver's license, registering fake voters, and flooding swing states with fraudulent mail-in ballots. How about that? The FBI Director Chris Wray buried the evidence just like he did with the Iranian election systems breach. He even told the public there was no foreign interference. This is another latest crack in the dam that's been leaking, specifically pointing out the 2,000 mules, surveillance footage of the election that year of 2020, sworn testimony, ballot dumps, lockout observers, and statistically impossible voter spikes for Biden. So are we allowed to say it's been stolen now? Are we allowed that Biden was a fraudulent president? Are we allowed yet? Should be getting close. And again, try to leave you a little bit of good news here. at the end. 70,000 have signed up for the 5 million Trump card investor visa, which is amazing. So specifically, the Trump card will be made out of gold. It's part of what the EB5 investor program, which requires someone to invest at least $1 million or $100,000 in a designated high unemployment or rural area, creating at least 10 full-time jobs, which is awesome. That's a great way to have investment come in and grow the economy here in the U.S. It got 350 billion. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket. It's like less than 1% of the 37 trillion in debt that we are in. But, at least these immigrants that are coming in are legal. They're actually investing in America. That's a pretty good deal. So, guys, this is Mouthy signing off. Dig you later.